we have the lowest footprint of any network on the market. In fact, per transaction, we're 0.603 kilowatts per hour, versus we're 1,000 times more efficient than the Visa network in how we run.
Alrighty, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another CYPRX video breakdown. In today's video, we're going to be talking about Hedera Hashgraph's Hbar token and the future potential that Hedera Hashgraph could bring to this new financial landscape. If you enjoy these video breakdowns and if you are an Hbar holder, make sure that you do us a favor, smash that thumbs up button and subscribe. I have a couple of video clips that I've conjured and put together for you all, simply going over and explaining everything that I'm going to say to you all in this video breakdown. So make sure that you stick around for the entirety of this video. Now, first, we're going to jump in to the first series of video clips that I have, but we're going to talk about the addressable market cap for the future potential of the digital asset space and how tokenization measures in the hundreds of trillions of dollars potentially coming into this nascent asset class. Now, this is, in our personal opinion, an opportune moment to seize opportunities, capitalizing on low valuations and keeping in mind that institutional money is still sitting on the sidelines.
You know, we have altogether about 34 billion of assets that we're willing to put onto the system as soon as the rails are shown to work. And
now, the trajectory of our world right now, as it stands, indicates an inevitable shift towards tokenization, presenting a rare chance to amass life-changing wealth. Conducting thorough research on platforms, organizations, and key market participants is set to potentially revolutionize you as an investor moving forward. It is absolutely crucial that you start to do research on these technologies, on these companies that we're talking about, specifically in this video breakdown, focusing on Hedera Hashgraph and what it is that they're doing behind the scenes. Hopefully, this video breakdown gives you a visual perspective on the interconnectedness that Hedera Hashgraph has accomplished over the past couple of years. Now, based on our extensive research, Hedera Hashgraph emerges as a pivotal player set to transform the global financial infrastructure. Its innovative approach positions it as a cornerstone in the evolving landscape of digital assets. As we navigate this transformative era, being at the forefront of such groundbreaking developments can potentially yield unprecedented financial gains, not financial advice. This is why we're telling you all to go do your own research. Take a second and listen to these panelists talk about the vast amounts of money and the potential market share that the digital asset space and tokenization could potentially inherit over the next couple of years.
That vision is going to be realized in every sector of the industry. I mean, what you hear about a lot is the finance sector, but it's much broader than that. It's going to be in finance, it's going to be in real estate, it's going to be in supply chain use cases, and et cetera, et cetera. Every part of the internet, every sector of society is going to be affected by this technology and this model.
You know, what's the future here in terms of blockchain and this big use case of tokenization? Is it really as big as some people say it is? Is the whole world going to get tokenized, or are there only certain industries where it matters?
Okay, so I mean, just I guess finishing off financial services, it's just massive, the opportunity, and I think we talked a little bit about the benefits in equities, but equities is probably the one where stocks are the one where you're not as bothered about it, but there are definitely benefits. The bond market's massive.
Yeah, the amount that we've seen tokenized so far in capital markets and debt capital markets in particular is tiny relative to the size of this market globally, but it's a start.
But that actually only deals with that which is already being dealt with at all. So while private markets are a lot larger than public markets, actually what's even larger again is investable grade assets that currently aren't serviced by financial services at all. And there are any number of assessments as to what those things might be and how big it might be. But we believe we're talking sort of somewhere in the region of $500 to $600 trillion worth of investable assets in the world that are just frankly currently unserviced by the traditional financial services markets.
This chart won't be a surprise to anyone on the call today. It really tries to capture the mammoth size of the market opportunity, addressing more than 1,700 trillion in assets, which are likely to become digital. Digitalization of all the world's assets, traditional markets, adoption of cryptocurrencies and the tokenization of real world assets. This is the size of the addressable market, and this is the market in which we see a huge opportunity to participate.
Next little tiny piece of mine I have to say to you all is that every early stage investor, i.e. us, individuals involved in this market space now, only about 450 million active users worldwide, as shown in my previous video breakdowns, understanding that this asset class isn't even 6,000 days old. We have to understand that navigating this space, we must grasp a fundamental truth. The native digital assets of blockchain and DLT-based systems will be the catalyst propelling adoption in Web3 ecosystems and the emerging internet landscape moving forward. The secret sauce lies in the utilization of cryptocurrencies with these new systems. And these financial institutions and banking payment providers, they know that. In constructing a plug-and-play system, which is what they have been doing for the past couple of years, developers have the flexibility to employ the new payment rails without necessarily relying on the native digital asset of the blockchain or DLT system, and they built it this way on purpose. However, the true scalability of this new internet and financial ecosystem hinges on the strategic use of digital assets. Presently, we know that traditional banks encounter obstacles in adopting digital currencies due to what? Regulatory uncertainties. Therefore, the seamless integration and widespread adoption of native digital assets will be the driving force behind the transformative potential of these revolutionary systems. And that's something that you need to keep in mind. They're not using these digital assets now. They built a plug-and-play system so that way later on, when the payment rails are ready, when the infrastructure is fully developed, they can then implement these digital assets to fully scale and utilize these blockchains and DLT-based systems at their fullest potential.
In this new version of the internet that's being created, and Hedera is one of those players.
Which we obviously don't want to repeat if we're designing the internet of the future. And I see digital currencies as part of that.
Tokens and cryptocurrencies, because as we all know, cryptocurrencies, tokens are what drive the Web3 economies. They power up the Web3 economies. So.
Last but not least, we know that Hedera has strategically aligned itself with prominent asset managers, for example, firms like Aberdeen, and holds partnerships with companies like Archax, hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly, which is an FCA regulated entity serving as an exchange broker and custodian for digital securities, and is also fully compliant with the SEC in the USA. This is extremely important. The fact that Hedera Hashgraph has partnerships like this plays a crucial role in its survivability long-term in this space, considering the fact that we're about to go through a regulatory environment. Additionally, Hedera also collaborates with Toka, which is a leading tokenization engine known for its advanced regulatory adherence on a global scale. Now, the breadth of Hedera's influence extends way farther to both direct and indirect partnerships with significant central banks such as the Federal Reserve and renowned organizations like the World Economic Forum. Regardless if these partnerships are direct or indirect, they still have ties some way, shape, or form. This extensive network underscores the substantial footprint Hedera has meticulously crafted over the years, solidifying its position as a major player in the evolving landscape of the new financial system.
By this technology and this model in this new version of the internet that's being created, and Hedera is one of those players.
So next is Drop. Drop is a micropayments platform that was recently listed as a vendor for FedNow to settle transactions. Drop's focus, they've built on Hedera has typically been micropayments, specializing in transactions under $10.
And then at the World Economic Forum, actually going to their meeting, well, that's like having, the ticket that gets you into the sessions. And even there, there's a lot of competition, more competition than is normal at a conference for getting a seat in the room. And so, first of all, you need to be viewed as a contributor with something to share with the broader membership in order to even be invited to attend the World Economic Forum. So we've been members of the World Economic Forum for a number of years, but this year we were actually invited to participate in the meetings directly.
And the value of central bank money is really the fact that the central banks play a key role in the overall financial market. So the opportunity that MTech saw is, can we actually tap into the efficiencies the benefits of modern technology if we were to bring that at the central banking layer, but really understanding the role of a central bank as an infrastructure provider, not particularly a service provider. And then you really look to the Visas of the world and the ecosystem players to say, what if you had a better infrastructure, right, for money to really move around, for you to get more visibility, for you to have regulatory frameworks and risk mitigation frameworks that really allow cross-border payments to be what they can be, lowering the cost of payments. So the really simple decision was to say, focusing on modernizing central banking infrastructure. And on one side, we look at the regulatory aspect of it, because come to find out, when we talked about CBDC, regulation comes right after when it comes to adoption and implementation. So we saw that as an opportunity to say, if we can help central banking modernize, then the Visas of the world and the ecosystem can really have a modern infrastructure to provide merchant services and better consumer services around that. So we're on the infrastructure end, and we build an API-led model. We leverage a distributed ledger technology that allowed us to make the case around trust. We made a bet on public ledger. We selected Hbar. That's one of those unique principal choices that we did as well. That really drives
I'll start with this. I think the main thing to understand is that Toko operates in a highly regulated financial environment, right? So obviously, as part of that, privacy, security is extremely critical. We then integrate that private layer with the public networks. And we treat them as basically gateways to get access to servers, to those public networks. We currently have Hedera, Algorand, Ethereum, and Polygon. We're pushing very hard on Hedera at the moment. We have a lot of functions over there.
Investors do not have access, individual investors do not have access to corporate bonds in their portfolio, individual corporate bonds. We've got to fix that. We've got to give them access. Otherwise, the bond market is not reaching enough of a wide enough audience. All the different private markets, right down to niche alternative investments as well, watches, art, cars. We're already seeing this happen. Outside of financials, sorry.
Yeah, we'll just stopping there for a minute. For blockchains that are out there, and how, for example, they offer a quicker time to settlement compared to existing financial rails. What are the criteria that you used in order to make your selections? Is it performance, reliability? Like what things should other people who are tuned into this webinar be thinking about when they have to make their technology selections?
So I guess anyone that's thinking about or is building a business and is presumably building that because they want that business and they want the business to be around for a long time. And I mentioned that we've been around for a very long time, and we want to continue to be around. So when we go into something new, we use a technology. We want to use a technology that's got longevity, that's got business continuity and sustainability. So that's like top level. That's the goal. And then we have to think about the different factors that go into creating that. And that means that it's a technology that's got to be scalable, because we want to be successful. And if we're successful and a technology we're using is not scalable, well, either we may not achieve that success, or we might have to change technologies, and we don't want to do that. We like long-term partnerships. So it's got to be scalable, high capacity. Speed is important, absolutely. So the number of transactions that can be processed on chain, and the finality element as well. I mean, if the industry really does take off, that overall capacity, transactions, and finality will be very important. You don't want congestion in the network, and then we need a technology that matches our values as well. And I talk about business sustainability, but we also have very strong. Some people say ESG, but sustainability values, climate and social and governance. And that last part is clearly very important to us. It's a technology where there's a strong governance framework that we think aligns with our own approach and the approach of the investors that we're going out to.
So with all of these video clips in mind, just showing you guys a little bit of an in-depth perspective based off the research that I've done on Hedera Hashgraph and Hbar and the future potential that it has in this new financial landscape.
So I think it's clear at this point that we're going to live in a tokenized world. Everything you see and touch, everything of value is going to have a digital twin. And the way I think that that's going to scale up is through supply chain. That's what the future is going to look like. And because of that, everything that you see and touch is going to have an associated token. What we've seen so far is just the tip of the iceberg. Even if we forget about pictures, right? Forget about apes. Even if we look at the tokenization of financial instruments, as we've seen through KKR and maybe real estate, et cetera, all of that is just the tip of the iceberg to what's coming.
Do us a favor, smash that thumbs up button and subscribe, especially if you're an Hbar holder. If you know nothing about Hedera Hashgraph and Hbar, I highly advise you guys take it upon yourself to go watch some of these panel discussions. Go read some documents on Hedera Hashgraph and Hbar and the future potential that it has to offer to this new financial ecosystem. Many blessings to you guys. As always, I'm not telling you guys to go out there and buy Hbar. What I am asking that you all do is you take it upon yourself to do your own research. As always, be cognizant, be aware, and I will see you all in the next video breakdown.